There's a big controversy among the right wing about cancel culture. Um, Cancel culture is really their code for being forced to accept non whites, immigrants, black people, Hispanics, um, all other hated minorities as being equal to white Christian native born Americans. Um, it's interesting that it arises a great deal of the time when they protest, the right protests the removal of the Confederate flag or Confederate statues or monuments. I mean, imagine if you're an African American walking around in the state that you live in and pays taxes to, build statues with your tax money to someone who advocated that you are inferior and that you should be bought and sold like cattle and that your life meant absolutely nothing more than a horse or a cow or a pig's life, and that you could be raped, you could be sold, you could be tortured, you could be mutilated and killed, and all of those things were completely legal in the Confederacy to be done to an African slave or an African American slave. Imagine if that is the state you're paying taxes to, the message it sends to you and your children. And for those who claim the Confederacy was not about white supremacy and not about slavery, but states' rights, the complete, utter rewriting of history, let's look at the quote of the Confederacy's first vice president, Alexander H. Stephens. Our new government is founded upon exactly the opposite idea. Its foundations are laid, its cornerstone rests upon the great truth that the Negro is not equal to the white man, that slavery subordination to the superior race is his natural and normal condition. This, our new government, is the first in the history of the world based upon this great physical, philosophical, and moral truth, basically white supremacy. The entire reason for the existence of the Confederacy was slavery and white supremacy. So remember, when they say cancel culture, what do they mean? They mean Confederate monuments, Confederate symbols, our history. Yes, the history of a racist oppression of everyone who isn't white in America up until half a human lifetime ago. Let's not act like it's ancient history. 50 years ago, less than the life of one single person that is alive today, an African American get killed in the South for sitting at a lunch counter voting 50, 60 years ago. We saw the reaction of the teen-utter fascists to Barack Obama, the first African American president, delegitimizing him and de-Americanizing him and calling him a Kenyan Muslim Brotherhood usurper. America is a white supremacist nation. The right wing and all of the Republican Party and their rural and southern, and also they're in urban areas and suburbs as well, in the north and in the west, but based in that Confederate mind frame. That is what they don't want canceled. If cancel culture means canceling Confederate mythology and white supremacy, sign me up. If cancel culture means canceling Sean Hannity, the greatest liar and mass murderer on television, the man who minimized COVID, called it basically the sniffles, and ran every kind of misinformation that killed people along with his Führer Donald Trump. Fox News is another racist white supremacist entity that should be canceled. Without their yellow journalism linking Saddam Hussein to everything, including the Kennedy assassination and whatever else, of course I'm exaggerating on that point, but putting him behind 9/11 and having restarted his nuclear program, all the yellow journalism of Fox News led us to the disastrous $4 to $5 trillion boondoggle that slaughtered a generation of innocent Iraqis. So if cancel culture means canceling the Confederacy, white supremacy, Fox News, ignorant redneck culture, gun culture, all of these things, 30,000 people a year die because of the Jesse James reading of the Second Amendment that these people consider part of their culture. And it should also be noted that the Second Amendment historically was included at the insistence of slave states because they feared slave rebellion. They wanted armed white militias to keep the natives and the African slaves in line. So these are the things that they want canceled. Let's remember when you talk about cancel culture that this is what they're talking about. End of rant.